The Why of the Three Rules of Exponents by MindSpire Test Prep. These are rules you probably already know, but haven't thought about much. Or it might be a set of rules that you always feel like you have to memorize, and therefore you forget them easily. This video will help make those problems go away, because if you know why, you don't have to memorize. Here are the three rules, and we'll come back to these, so don't feel like you have to memorize them. When you multiply exponents with the same base, you add the exponents. When you divide exponents with the same base, you subtract the exponents. When you raise one exponent to another, you multiply the exponents. So why does a to the third times a to the fourth equal a to the seventh? Why do we add the exponents? Well, if you expand it out, then you'll see that a to the third is just a times a times a. And a to the fourth is a times a times a times a. And if you multiply all of those together, you have a 7 times, a to the seventh. So what we're doing is just adding the exponents. What about subtracting? Well, a to the fourth divided by a to the third is a times a times a times a divided by a times a times a. And a bunch of the a's cancel out, so we are left with just a to the 1. So subtracting works. It might help to make sense of this if you remember that just like multiplying is the opposite of dividing, adding is the opposite of subtracting. So that might help you remember that when you multiply the exponents, you add them. When you're dividing, you're subtracting them. Last, we have the third rule, which is that when you raise an exponent to another power, you multiply the exponents. Why does that work here? Well, a to the third to the fourth means 3 groups of a's, or 3 a's 4 times. So 3 a's 4 times means 3 times 4, which is 12. So it works. I'll just close by adding, when in doubt, expand it out, because that's really what we've been doing. Is we saw that a to the third raised to the fourth is actually 12 a's when we expand it out, or a to the third times a to the fourth is actually 7 a's when we expand it out, etc. So if you don't remember the rule, you can just see what happens, and that will tell you why you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do, and you'll know it.